Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so good morning everyone. So thank you for coming to the computer language lab C programming class. So the unofficially actually, so this is the actual first class. So today we have only 1 hour, so I will just briefly give you the introduction and mainly explain why we learn this C programming and what gonna we do in the next one semester. Okay, so let me introduce myself. So my name is Juni, and I'm an assistant professor of the electrical engineering. Okay, so the C language, computer work in general. Computer language. Computer language is a language like a Korean, like English. So the language is for communications, especially. Let's think about you are the masters and you have slaves. So in order to make those slaves to work, slaves and masters need to use common language. For example, so if that master use Korean in Korean, like the 열심히 일해. He says like that. It means work harder. However, if the slaves use a different language, they might understand, in a different way. So even though the master says 열심히 일해, but the slaves might understand, okay, it's lunchtime. Then it makes a problem. So that's why slaves and masters and slaves need to use the same language. So in these days, after the Lincolns in the United States a long time ago, there's no slavery. However, still in these days, everyone has a very powerful slave. That slave's name is computer. Computer is not that smart, but work very hard, and he's a very nice slave. So we want to make that slave work. So in order to that, computers and we human people need to use the same language. In general, from the very ancient time, usually slaves learn master the language, right? Master never learns slave the language. However, this slave is not that smart. It's so stupid. Actually, it's very stupid. You may understand it. So have you ever used like Siri or on Samsung phone S voice? 여러분 Siri나 S voice have you ever used Siri? No.
No, I haven't used that voice one anymore.
Yeah. But you may already know that Siri or S voice, they are not that smart. If you say something, they actually show something very weird. That's very well known. So the slave is not that stupid, not that smart. So there's no way. Only one way is we masters need to learn slave's language. That's actually programming. Okay, that's why you need to learn computer programming. So for example, in here, we masters want to know the answer of 3 plus 2. Then in human language, it is what is 3 plus 2. However, machines, computers never understand the human language. So we need to translate this simple question into the computer language. If we use C language, then form gonna be like this. Something a little bit more bulky and a little bit more complicated. And at this moment, using this the computer language, this machine on your right side understand what master wants. Then using this computer language, then it says that this computer knows what they have to do, and they can give some result. Like, okay, it's 5. The answer is 5. That's the answer of these computers. So that's why you need to learn this computer language. Actually, this computer programming exists everywhere. Programming needs to make computers helps our work if we have a bunch of data, like it's like if you want to measure, if you want to know the average height of the all Koreans, basically you need to summate for 40 million numbers or 50 million numbers. 자, 5천만 숫자를 다 더해야 되죠. 일단 여러분이 한국 사람의 평균을 알려면 5천만 숫자를 다 더해야겠죠. However, it's not easy by human power, manpower. So, for those kind of job, computer definitely very useful. Or, using this programming, computer actually entertain us. Like, we can do the pentakid based on the computer programming. Have you ever did pentakid? Do you know what's a pentakid?
Yes, it's time you give like 5 0.
Oh yeah, you know this game. Do you know this game?
I'm not sure. Is it the lead to work against?
Yeah, that's right. How about you? No, you have you played any computer game?
Yes.
What kind of? I'm asking the foreign side. So, what kind of computer game? What is it? Huh? I can barely hear you. Okay. Okay. So anyway, so for the computer games, okay. So we need the technical programming, and even more, computer actually make us more socialized, like like YouTube or the Facebook or Twitters. They are all based on the programming. So do you know who is he? Who he is? Yes, he's Bill Gates. And do you know what he's doing?
Ice bucket challenge?
Yes, ice bucket challenge. So that was very popular in the last year, but in these days. But this year nobody do that. Anyway, using this kind of the social communication, actually this programming make us more socialized. They actually make massive friends, some virtual friends. Anyway, so they are all for the programming. So if you want to do such a stuff, basically you need to do programming. There is so many computer languages, but why we have to learn C? So basically there are the bunch of really bunch of the programming language. So the C is what you want to learn, but there's the C++, C Sharp, or Java, or Perl, or or some Basic, even in Excel or the MATLAB. There's a bunch of them. So is there any other language you experienced? Any other computer language? No. Not yet. So usually this computer language can be sorted by its how can I say that familiarity to the human side. So some of the computer language more close to the human side. However, the other languages are more close to the machine side. So for example, like the MATLAB or Visual Basic or Excel, they are the very the human friendly. They are very easy to use, easy to understand. However, the problem is they are very limited. They can do only limited functions. However, if we getting more close and close to the machine-like language, then the bad thing is it's very difficult to use by human. However, there's a lot of things we can do with those machine-like language, and there's a lot of and it's it is very powerful, getting a very powerful and powerful to get this side. So the very the machine like language is the assembly code or the assembly language or machine code itself. However, the problem of this the machine like language is machine dependent in many cases. Machine dependent, which means for example, this is the assembly language. Assembly language case, if you use programming, the program code language itself and the code itself is dependent on the machines. So which means if you make some program for this, let's say this is the PC, but that program cannot be used for this, let's say this is the cell phones or the Android machines. If you write the program with this assembly for the Android phone or this phone or let's say this is the Samsung phone, but that assembly code cannot be used for the let's say LG phones. So the problem of the machine like language is machine dependent. However, there's a bunch of class of language that is machine independent. So which means if you write a program using Java, then it can be run any of the machines. So using the same code and same program can be run on this PC or it can run on these cell phones. So basically, truly, your cell phones or the smartphones has a bunch of apps, right? Like Clash of Clans, or in this case I'm doing Soda Crush, Candy Crush, Candy Soda, whatever. Yes, Candy Crush is something like that. But this Candy Crush is made up of this Java actually. So that's why it can be run on on Samsung machines or LG machines, LG cell phones or the Samsung smartphones or any other smartphones. So the most of the case people like this machine independent language. So the reason that we learn C is most of the machine-like language among the machine-independent language. So we usually say if the language is on human side, this is the high-level language, and if it's a machine side, it's a low-level language. So C is lowest machine-independent language, which means if you make a program using C, you can run that program in any machine, any computers. You can run it on the PC or you can run it with smartphones, any type of computers. However, even like that, even though it's machine independent, it is very machine-like. So which means it has very flexible. It can do almost anything. So C is the lowest level language, very close to the machines, and it's most flexible, which means it can do anything the other language can do. And because it's very low level language, it is easy to control the hardware itself. That's why we electrical engineering, we actually give the lecture for C because electrical engineering students are very related to the hardware side. So if you build something, that's going to be hardware. So in order to control the hardware, you need some software. That software is mostly written in C. Or if you are unlucky, you need to write in assembly language, but I don't want to do that. And because C is the most basic language, so if you want to learn C, the other language is very easy to learn. So C is the base of other language. So that's very useful. Actually, I don't know. So the after you graduate this, the college, so you gonna have very different. So everyone has their own career plans. But whatever you are doing as an engineering student, you gonna do programming. So for example, if you actually hired by Citibank or the Goldman Sachs or some financial company, so mostly you gonna use the Excel programming. Or in the very if you really do the Visual Basic, then you gonna be the very top programmer in the Citibank. It's true. However, if you hired, so if you work for some service company like a Google, Amazon, or Naver, then most of the program language gonna be Java or Perl, C#, or C. So those are the main programming language that gonna be work for this service company. Then if you work for some hardware company like Samsung or Apple or Intel or Microsoft is a kind of the very some hardware company. In this case, you have to learn C. So most of the program gonna be written in C or assembly or C++. So the different career plan actually requires the different language. However, whatever you are doing, once you know the C, then the others are very easy. So that's why you are learning C. I have a question. So there's many kind of language. So which one is gonna be the most popular in the world or the most widely used in the world? What do you think? Maybe Java? Java? Any idea? Excel? Yes, Excel. So there's actually the GitHub. GitHub is actually some database that people, so anyone can upload their own the open source code. Then they can share their code through the GitHub database. So according to the statistics of the GitHub, top one language is C++, then C, and Java, something like that. However, that's only for the database. However, in practically, what I'm really thinking is the most popular language or tool is Microsoft Excel, Excel programming. Because my friend who is not engineering student, who actually work for some steel company, so steel company, he actually do some with Excel programming. So every the workers in company, they are doing Excel. So I guess the Excel, even me by myself, I'm still doing some of the Excel programming in this case. For example, in order to sort your scores and get your grade, and some of your the midterm score and the final score, I use Excel. So Excel is one of the very powerful tools. Okay. So that's why we learn C program. Okay, so basically, this course is for the C programming course. Here's the simple syllabus. Okay, so again, this you may already know this is an English course because I'm saying English. Okay, English course, but Korean will be also used to explain the important concept. But I don't want to explain something new in Korean, so please don't worry about I'm using Korean. So, and the course outline is Okay, so that's what I actually said up to now. So the C programming is the most one of the popular tools about blah 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 blah. So that's why we need to learn C program. So after this course, so I hope you guys can understand the concept of C programming and practice some C programming, and importantly develop some problem solving skills using C programming. So basically, I want you guys actually use the C programming in your sort of further study or in your life. And we have some textbooks. This is the textbooks I actually said, but I'm not sure because that this is a little bit old style of the book. So this is a textbook, but there is a bunch of C programming books, so that any of them gonna be helpful. But officially, this is our textbook. But the problem of the usual, this is the problem of the every textbook. Textbook should be having certain pages, right? Usually textbook has 300 pages. If the textbook has only 50 pages, people are not happy because textbooks are very expensive. So that's why the textbook has almost all of the contents regarding to the C programming. But some of them are more important, some of them are less important. So that's why I prepared this lecture note. So the lecture note actually extracts something really important among this textbook. So the lecture note is going to be the first primary course material for this course.
Is the textbook necessary about learning because is it necessary to get the textbook?
Okay, so because this is recorded, I want to say yes.
But
Okay, so you may understand.
it's mandatory for me to success.
But if you do not want to buy but it's not, I don't want to force you to buy textbook. You can borrow or, so that in the library, there's a bunch of the C programming books, not exactly this textbook. So any of them gonna be very helpful.
So you are not giving any kind of appointments or homework?
No, it's not like that. So and I guess in your life, it's very good to have at least one C programming books because it's gonna be used for your entire life. So maybe having one reference book gonna be good. Okay, so then let me introduce you the teaching team. So I'm Juni, so I'll be the main lecturer, and I'm assistant professor, whatever. And my office is up in the engineering building 207, and this is my email. So that you can, so if you have a question or any suggestion or about this class, you can send me a mail. Or I have an office hour, which is on Monday 2 to 4. So you can visit me without any appointment at this time. However, if you want to visit me at the other time of the office hour, other than office hour, then please send me a mail in advance. Then make an appointment. Then you can always talk to me. And we have a teaching assistant, Minhyuk. He is a graduate student. So he gonna help you the most of the works. So if you have any question, so you can also ask to the TA. Minhyuk, so could you let them know your contact points? 여자가 와서 이메일이랑 전화번호까지 필요 없고 이메일 좀 적어주세요. So he gonna write his email on the board. So you can contact him. So for any issues. Again, so we have sessions. We gonna have two sessions, lecture and lab. So usually this course is designed so 1 hour lecture in the usual classroom and the 3 hour lab session in this lab in this computer room. But I'm gonna manage this course by merging this lecture and lab together. So I will give you the lecture, then give you some time, then during that time you can practice with your machines. So that's why we have both sessions in this classroom. There is some evaluation, but it's tentative, so we're gonna have some we may have a homework assignment, and we're gonna have some in-lab assignment, which means the kit. It's a sort of kit, so I'll give you a lesson 30 minutes, then ask you to write a program. Then that's the lab assignment. Then definitely the midterm and finals. Importantly, midterm and finals include paper exam and the programming exam, which means you need to write you need to solve some user paper-based exam. Also, you need to turn in some programs. So this is scheduled on the midterm week and the final week, and we're gonna take these exams using the lab session time. So it is already scheduled. So the midterm is October 19th, Monday, 9 to 12. So this is the same time of your regular class time. So I hope there's no conflict. And the final is also on the final week. So it's the same Monday at the same time in this class. And there is some grade, tentative. Then there's some course policies, but this is very based on common sense. No copy, no cheating, no late submission. This is very based on common sense. Definitely, the discussion is encouraged, but copy and paste is not allowed. And definitely, there's no discussion is allowed for the in-lab assignment or midterm and finals. It's very basic. Yes.
Is the grading relative? Or do we get like the grade we get?
I'm not sure about this course policy, but I'm gonna give you some relative. Yes, based on but it's not determined yet. So the probably the A gonna be on the 35 to 40, and the B is around up to the next 40, something like that. But you would not have a D or F unless you are doing something very wrong. Something very wrong means you miss midterm or final, or you miss really too much classes. That means you are doing something wrong. But unless you wouldn't be able to get a D or F. Okay, so okay. Okay, in the lab session, so as you see, you have machines in front of you, or we have one machine. But I don't know. So about these machines, this kind of machine is quite old. So and some of them might not work. So I strongly encourage you. So if you have, please bring your own laptops if you have. If you do not have, so you can use these machines, but some of them it's kind of old and slow, so it might not be convenient. But the laptops are expensive, so I don't want to force you to buy a new laptop. But if you have, it might be good to bring your own ones. And finally, we will use the Microsoft Visual C++ as our C programming tools. Okay, so here it is. So the MS Visual C++ is very fortunately it's free. It's free. So you can download it from this website. And this website looks like that. And here, so if you look at if you read some a little bit more, then you can find out this kind of the icons. Then you can click it. By clicking and you can download. But if I remember correctly, before you download it, you need to subscribe in this Microsoft website, Microsoft whatever their network. Okay? So if you do not, if you haven't registered it, so you may need to make your own ID on the Microsoft website. So but it's free. Okay?
Does this work with MacBook?
What?
Like, can I bring my? Does it work with a MacBook?
MacBook? Mac. That's a good question. No.
No.
The answer is no. But if you are using MacBook, there's many ways to use. First of all, because of okay, this is Microsoft C++ kind of C compiler. There is many different kind of C compiler. So MacBook itself, they have their own C compiler. So you can use that. However, if you want, because all of these programs or courses gonna given will using this the Microsoft C++. So if you really want to use that, there are some other ways. So first of all, you can use some the virtual machines on your MacBook. Then you can install Windows. Then you can install this C++. That's the most simplest way. Okay. All right. Okay. So then let's assume that you installed this the Visual C program. Then here is the how to start your C programming language. So there the choose this one and the other one choose the blah blah blah. And finally, you can in this window. So in this window, you can type actually your first C program. Then like this. Then finally, you can see such the result of the C program. So, and if you during write this program, if you make an error, so the error message is gonna be listed on this one. So it's like that. So because it's out of time, so if you have more time, so I'll ask you to go through the whole of this your first programming language, first program, but because we are out of time, we're gonna leave it for the next course. Because this slide and this video gonna be uploaded, so if you have time, so after you go back home, then you can please try to install this Visual C program on your machines, and please practice this first programming language by yourself. So here, so what I want to say is this message. So like that. So if you want to be a great soccer player like a Messi, watching Messi video is not enough. You should play ball by yourself, actually. So that's the same. You can actually understand all of the C language features by reading these lecture notes or textbooks. But that doesn't help you to develop your own programming skill. So please move your fingers. Please type all of these things. That actually makes you a better programmer. Okay? Any question?